Woody's World is sponsored by Shanahan Steakhouse. In my world, Troy, you don't have to stand in a line. You don't have to get one of those things and come back at 3:45. You don't have to go over and say, oh, I want to ride Space Mountain, but I can't. In my world, you can do whatever you want to. And today's topic is a little bit offline, but I'm interested because Troy Rink was the best baseball writer in the world, and I want to get his opinion about it. We're watching something strange that hasn't happened in quite some time in baseball. Our all-star voting by the fans, with one team dominating so much so that all 8 position starters in the game could be from the same team, the Kansas City Royals. Mike Trout, who Troy mentioned a moment ago, is edging out the guy. Mike Trout, one of the greatest, could arguably be at some point one of the greatest players ever in the game, can't beat out a center fielder from the Kansas City Royals. Now, I have a couple of opinions about this, then I'm going to give you the solution to this game. One is, I'm with Ned Yost on a bunch of, if you want your guy in, vote. That's what this whole thing, I looked at it. You can vote 35 times. It's like Chicago elections. You can get dead people to vote. You can get your next door neighbor who's never seen a baseball game and say, vote 35 times for my guy. So Ned Yost's right. If you don't like the Kansas City Royals, what's happened, I don't know if you paid attention to this, Troy, what's happened is there could be like 15 guys from Missouri teams that are starting in the All-Star game, which is in Ohio. Why aren't Cleveland and Cincinnati working on this? Why doesn't Cincinnati want to get their players in? Their third baseman, who's having the best year of anybody at third base, I know people here will argue, can't even be in first place. Yost is right. Vote. If you don't like it, change the system. They did it after 57 when the commissioner stepped in, which he shouldn't have done, and took out 2 of the starters of the Cincinnati Reds. That's when the Cincinnati Reds stuffed the ballot box. Now they're not. Kansas City is. Well, Ford Frick, who none of you have ever heard of, who was commissioner then, but he was better than General whatever his name was.
Kennesaw Landis?
No, it was after Ford Frick. He was the unknown soldier because nobody remembers that he was the commissioner. Frick stepped in and made sure that Stan Musial, who was voted in, Henry Aaron and Willie Mays were on the team. It's hard to believe that 2 of those guys couldn't be first team in the All-Star game. So that's it. Change the system then. Have it like the Pro Bowl now is. They used to have all the players vote, and players would ask me who they should vote on. You better, and they would go, I don't know these guys. We don't play against them. Help me out here. I would help guys. I did more than the players. For some of them, offensive line would say, here, fill my ballot out. You know who these players are. Make it 1/3 managers, 1/3 players, 1/3 fans, and as Yogi Berra would say, 1/3 media. That would be 4/3, wouldn't it? I don't even want to put the media in there. Have it managers, players, and fans. And then who would complain except a few people that are seam heads? But what I like this. I like that it's quite possible there could be 9 players starting from the Kansas City Royals and a pitcher. If I am Ned Yost, I put my pitching staff on the All-Star team. I would even include Jeremy Guthrie, who was dumped into the dumpster fire by the Colorado Rockies. They've got 2 relievers that have 20 saves between them. Put them on the team. And you go, well, that's laughable, Woody. You're just making a mockery. Well, the mockery's already been made. Think about this. Every year, the United States puts together a quasi-all-star team and goes to Japan. And they play different Japanese teams. All-star team from the United States against the inferior Japanese club from Hiroshima. Guess what? The U.S. All-Star team gets beat all the time. They come back and they've won 3, one's tied, and they lose 5. Wouldn't it be interesting if you just put the Royals out there and Royals pitchers and see if they could beat the National League? Almost did it last year, a team. Here's the other point, and those who followed the Nuggets for a long, long time will remember this. You were a kid. The last year of the ABA, they only had a 6-team league when they were down to it, and they decided for the All-Star game that the Nuggets would play the All-Stars from the ABA. That included a lot of people like Juice Irving and Artis Gilmore, George McGinnis, people like that. And guess what happened? The Nuggets beat the All-Star team. That game is remembered more for the fact that that was the first slam dunk contest won by Julius Erving. It may be that this works out well because the American League wants the extra home game. That if you put for 3 or 4 innings, and that's all the Stars are going to play, you put Royals out there, they actually might play better than an all-star team because they know how to play together. So Ned Yost is right. If you don't like it, vote. Guess what? This may work out better than anything. I think there'll be a couple of changes before the last voting. But that's what I believe, that, hey, it makes it more fun. I mean, the All-Star game is, Bud was trying to make it more fun. Well, it's going to make it more fun. You have the Royals run out on the field. I'm Woody Paige. That's my opinion. Shanahan's Steakhouse is my go-to place, and Les makes fun of it that I'm over there 2 or 3 times a week. I like to go over there and have a salad. I like to go in there and talk to people from Denver. I like to go and sit on the patio. I like the valet parkers. They're my peeps. I go and hang out with them outside. Great. I do. I go outside and hang out with the valet parkers, and they're really nice to me, and I'm nice to them. I love the service. I love that. If you see that wall of wine, you'll be amazed. You drink your way through it over a period of several years. But if you haven't been there for a while, take that special person in your life and go to Shanahan's. It's an evening that always is unforgettable. And the way you can make a reservation for this weekend, Father's Day, shanahansteakhouse.com.